Here I have a small stake anvil in the hardy hole, and it isn't being held down in any way. So you can see how much this thing is bouncing around, and that's actually by design. Hardy tools are meant to have a loose fit so they don't get stuck in your anvil. Now you don't need quite this much clearance, but that's just how it is with some anvils. I initially thought this turnbuckle design would be a good way to solve the problem. This chain attaches to a hook at the base of the hardy tool, and the turnbuckle pulls down on the hardy tool to hold it in place. But I found this to be very time consuming to set up, and the vibrations from the hammering tends to loosen the turnbuckle very quickly. So this is the setup I'm using to experiment with the spring tension idea. This is just a light duty coil spring that I bought at the hardware store, and I'm using my old hold down tool to put a little bit of spring tension on the hardy tool. Now I don't have any accurate way of measuring how much spring tension I've put on this, but I can tell you it isn't very much. The spring isn't maxed out, that's for sure, and even still it's having a really dramatic effect in stabilizing this hardy tool. So adding a second spring should give me all that I need. Now that I know that spring arm is going to work, I can go ahead and remove the old hold down tool. I'll probably wind up using the same holes to mount the new system. Now I'm going to use this small beam to see if I can get an idea where I need to place this workstation bracket. The back corner of my anvil falls right around here, so I need to have this sitting out from that a little bit so that I can set up something in the workstation and not have it interfere with the main anvil. This is the beam that I want to use for the workstation bracket. I need to square off one end, cut it to length, and then cut it lengthwise along the center flange to get the final piece that I need to mount to the anvil. Squaring off a beam like this with a small angle grinder is a three-step process. You start by cutting all the way through one flange and then down the center flange as far as your grinder can reach. And then you cut that scrap piece off. Now you use a square to figure out where the other flange needs to be cut, and you remove that piece the same way. And once you have those two pieces out of the way, you'll be able to lay your square right on the center flange and mark it for the last cut. If I needed to cut the beam to length from a much longer beam, I would use the same technique. The only difference is I would need to slide the square vertically in the saw cut to be able to mark the center flange. And I would use a sawzall with a metal cutting blade to cut through any part of the flange that I wasn't able to reach with the grinder. So this is where the workstation bracket is going to be mounted to the anvil base. Next I'm going to concentrate on getting the work done on the anvil base so I can set my anvil back up.